Welcome back, YouTube. Sorry for the few days off and no videos for last week or so. Been very busy at work, but I have a really good reason to talk about Magic right now, and that is to do something that I haven't done yet on the channel in depth, really, and that's talk about what I feel is the most healthy format in Magic right now, and that is Modern. We have some results that have come in from this past weekend. There was a Star City Games Open in Baltimore, as well as a Grand Prix in Copenhagen and a Grand Prix in Kobe, Japan. And from the looks of all of these tournaments, Modern is one diverse, very, very wide open, very playable, and diversity-friendly format. The decks that you see across the top 8s and 16s of these tournaments are varied greatly. Obviously, there's got to be a best deck, and right now it still feels like it's some build of Death Shadow. Brad Nelson having won the SCG Open with Grixis Death Shadow. Deck's just very good. The Grixis version plays more like a Delver deck that just has Death Shadow over Delver and utilizes the life loss effects in it, the paying life to fetch lands, the shock lands, stuff like that, to make a very big, hard to deal with creature. Very good deck, probably the best in the format, but not by a long stretch. It's a format where you could play the second, third, fourth, or 12th best deck and still be a competitive player in the game. Across the top 8 here in the SCG Open, there was also Dredge, Amulet Titan, Jund, Eldrazi Tron, a couple more Death Shadow decks, and then down in the top 16, a blue-red Storm deck, some green-white Hexproof or Boggles, Counters Company, which is a new deck in the format that I'd like to talk about a bit. Local here to Tampa, Brennan DeCandio, top 16 with a build that is kind of similar to the old Collected Company deck, where it has access to an infinite combo, but it plays a little differently because of cards like Devoted Druid in combination with Vizier of Remedies, creating infinite green mana, and then using tutor effects to go tutor up and a Duskwatch Recruiter and draw every card in your deck until you can Walking Ballista somebody out of the game. Collected Company, very powerful. Court of Calling, very powerful cards, and a very cool deck. And this just kind of goes to show the diversity and the health of a format when you have a deck that is multiple infinite combos within one deck. It's a very, very good, very well-rounded deck and can attack from several angles. And it's not absurdly oppressive or broken. It put up some good results. It's still fairly new, so it's still being tuned, and it may get there, but for right now, it's just another good deck. Just another option of something that you're able to do in this format. Moving down the list, Death and Taxes, Burn, Blue-Red Control, Affinity, Moral, Drowsytron, Dredge, Red-White Nahiri. All different sorts of decks and different sorts of archetypes that you could play and have a moderate amount of success. When I first got into Modern, I ended up on blue-red Splinter Twin deck, and I enjoyed the deck quite a bit, and then Splinter Twin got banned. While I was bummed, I was able to pivot to another deck that I loved. And even though I'm still a little salty about the Splinter Twin ban, I moved on to Burn, and I played that deck for the better part of a year, and I still play it periodically. I have access to those cards, and I can pick up the deck at any time I want and go out to a local tournament, or if there's a Star City event in town, I could go play the deck and have a good time. I played Merfolk quite a bit as well. I'm a big fan of decks with Aether Vial and efficient creatures, so that deck really called to me. Also, back in the day when I played before I quit the game, Merfolk was a thing, and it's still a thing, and it's cool to be able to see that. I have access to Tron. I have some friends that have a pretty good sized collection of modern stuff, so I have access to a lot of different decks and can enjoy the diversity of a format. There is a sort of financial barrier of entry, as some of the decks are pretty expensive, but there are budget ways to work your way into the format. So it's good for new players and seasoned players alike. Moving over to Grand Prix Copenhagen, we had a Grixis Death Shadow deck in top 8, Lantern Control, Living End, which is a super sweet deck that a lot of people really enjoy. It's sort of a pet deck for a lot of folks, and doesn't always put up the huge results, but here it is top 8ing a Grand Prix randomly. Titan Shift, or the Amulet Titan deck again. Storm, another combo deck in the format that's not absurdly broken, that doesn't hold back the format from being diverse, but it's still there and it's an option, which is great. Then Dredge, which just had a banning of Golgari Grave Troll a while back, still a deck, still a very good deck and healthy in the format. And again, this counters company deck. And some more Death Shadow, the usual stuff. Outside of that, here's Grand Prix Kobe. There was Ad Nauseam, another combo deck. If you're a combo player, you have a bunch of different options in Modern, but you're not really going to piss off the rest of the people you're playing with, because your decks are going to be good but beatable, and that's kind of where you want a format to be. Affinity, a mainstay in the format, has always been around and will probably always be around unless there's something banned from it. But the way the format is, it doesn't look like anything stands out from any deck to be a candidate for banning. Esper Control, very cool and surprising to see a pure control list again in a top 8. Some new tech apparently, Glorybound Initiate, as well as some other recent cards. Fatal Push is all over all 3 major formats. Just cool to see stuff like this in Modern. And then another Grixis Death Shadow deck, and Jeskai Control, yet another pure control deck with Spell Quellers, standard All-Star from a while back. Very, very cool to see that too. More Dredge, Eldrazi Tron, and Black-White Eldrazi actually taken down, which is a deck that we didn't really see for a while. That was sort of the first iteration of an Eldrazi deck in Modern, before Modern did break temporarily with the Eldrazi Winter back just over a year ago or so. So, really good way to play Magic, really great format. If you are a strictly standard player and you're kind of upset with the way Standard has been over the past 6 to 8 months, I would recommend checking out Modern for sure. It just has the ability and access to everything you would want to do, whether you like to play aggro decks or control or more of a combo sort of thing, or even some strange tempo decks and stuff like that. It's a great format. There's big mana ramp decks, there's low to the ground, small aggro burn decks, and about everything else you could do in between. So I would like to know what you think about Modern. What are you all playing right now? I've been on Green-White Tron for a bit. I might pivot and try to play actual traditional Jund, because I've always been interested in the deck. What are you guys playing? What would you like to see happen in Modern? How do you feel about the format? Do you think it is as healthy as I've just sat here and explained for a good 8-10 minutes? Please subscribe, comment down below, and let me know. And I may talk more in depth about a couple of the decks that I am playing in Modern. Maybe do some deck techs if that's something that there's interest in the future. So definitely, please let me know, and I will be back very soon with another video. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon.